my channel. Today, as you can see, we've done a really super colourful look. I got my hands on the 25L palette from Morphe and I just couldn't wait to play with some bright colours. It's been a hot minute since we did something a little bit more vibrant, so I thought today was the day. I wanted to just sit down and play with colour. I was inspired by this look by a couple of different Instagram artists. I was inspired by, and I'm going to pop them on the screen just so you guys can see the looks as well, but my main inspirations were Makeup by Raquel and also Kalo, who is a really great makeup artist in the UK. I've put the two of their looks on their Instagram and I kind of merged them together and this is what I came up with, so I'm so happy how it turned out. Obviously you guys know that the James Charles palette by Morphe is one of my favourites, so I was really interested to see how this one was going to compare. I thought, oh, maybe it's just the same, but it's not. There's a different colour story here. You've got every colour under the rainbow. You've got a mixture of mattes and shimmers. They're really, really bright as well, which I like. One thing I did notice that there is no kind of transition shades in here, as in, not transition shades as such, but like filler shades, like the ones that you'll see in every palette, like a soft warm brown, which in relation to a rainbow palette doesn't really need to be there, but some brands would still do it anyway. But this one has got a really nice mixture of colours. I really, really liked the idea and I was so excited to play with colour and do something really creative, so that's what I did today. So before we go any further, hit subscribe if you haven't already, because even if this is your first time watching me, I really would like to hope it's not your last. Hit the bell so you don't miss any future uploads from me, and yeah, let's get colourful with makeup. Okay, let's get started. I'm not sure what this palette's going to be like fallout wise, so I'm going to just take a little bit of loose powder and just kind of bake my under eyes, just because I really like my skin today. I want to get some nice photos of it and I don't want to have to deal with fallout. So I'm just going to dip into my trusty Fenty Beauty loose powder and I'm going to just bake. So the first step is of course going in with my eyeshadow primer potion by Urban Decay. I'm using Eden, my holy grail eye primer, because I really want to make sure that I give this palette a fair shot, and to do that I think it needs to be just as well prepped as any other palette would be, and the only thing that I can rely on to never let my eye makeup down is my Eden primer, so we're going to go in with that today. So now that our eyes are primed and ready to go, I'm going to start off by taking the shade Life, and for that I'm going to be using a little MAC 217 brush, and I'm really just going to start by stamping that into the inner corner of my eye. So we're just kind of stamping that into the inner corner of my eye, just taking it slightly higher than the eye socket, just so I can see when my eyes are open, because in case you haven't noticed, my eyes are hooded AF. So I'm really liking the look of this red shadow. It actually looks super pigmented and there is quite a bit of fallout from it, so I am glad that we baked. And then I'm just going to take on a little MAC 217 brush the orange shade Culture, and we're going to just use that to kind of diffuse the red. But I'm just continuing to buff out this orange shade Pride, just to slowly but surely diffuse the first colour, Life, that we placed down, that really nice red. And I know you're probably thinking, Alan, what are you doing? This looks crazy at first. It won't when I'm done, which, as you know, is my favourite motto. And then in a really large blending brush, I'm just taking that yellow shade Sunlight. The brush I'm using for this is the Lancome number 17 blending brush, which, as you guys know, I love. I'll never stop talking about how much I love this brush. Don't even think you can get it anymore, but I love it. It is just like a standard blending brush, but because it's black, I love it for using colour because it doesn't stain. And then just to make sure the colour is as pigmented as possible, I'm just putting some more of that shade Pride, which is that orange shade, just over top. And then going back in with the yellow and just kind of blending it out again. You'll get a lot of kind of you'll find doing this kind of look you're going to have to repeat a lot of colours kind of back and forward, because you want to make sure that every colour is as visible as the last, and you don't want any colours to kind of get lost in the blend, because otherwise it's going to just look like one colour and that's not what we're wanting. Right, I'm going to zoom you guys in so you can see, because that was so far away. I think this is a little bit better, let me know. So obviously it's going to look a kind of hot mess as we go through. You're blending bright colours, do not worry if it doesn't look fantastic from the first colour. That's totally to be expected. And I think I want this look to be quite kind of winged out today. So when you get to the end of your eyes, just kind of push that product out. I'm not dragging it all the way out, just kind of so that I know that it's going this way and not that way, if that makes sense. And I think people get really put off by yellow. I think people get quite put off by yellow eyeshadow because they think it has to be like who is going to wear yellow on their eyes, but see, to transition darker colours and just add that kind of warmth, if you want to go more bright rather than neutral, yellow is a great kind of alternative for those of you who like your warm brown transitions but you want to go colourful. Yellow is the way to go. And then I'm just window wiping the red shade to about two-thirds of my, about two-thirds of the way out of my eyes, just to kind of start to keep the blend going. The reason why I really started in the middle at first in the kind of centre of my eyes is I wanted the most colour to be here, because this bit's going to go a little bit different. So then just to keep that colour burst going in the outer corner, we're going to go in with this really vibrant kind of pinky purpley shade called Love Winds. And I'm going to just kind of wipe that backwards and forwards in the outer third of my eyelid space. And again, this is going to be the base for a darker colour to transition into, so don't worry if you're thinking this doesn't really match the orange and the yellow, because it will. And then we're just taking the kind of plummy shade, SF, and we're using that just to kind of stamp down on the outer third of my eye. One thing I did notice this palette is missing is a like matte purple. I think a matte purple would be bomb, but there's a matte kind of navy blue purpley colour that we can use, so it'll be fine, it'll work. And just always keep your big fluffy brush to hand, because that'll come in really handy just to diffuse any harsh edges and kind of blur out any bad blends, because we've all had them, right? So then we're going to take the matte kind of navy bluish purplish shade Truth. It is actually a little bit more purpley now that I see it in my brush, just on that little MAC 221S. We're going to use that just to kind of darken up the crease. And don't worry if this looks a hot mess at first, because you are blending this colour into colour that's nowhere near lighter than it, so it is going to look a little bit strange, but when you go to add your blend in later it will look really cool. And you'll see how that colour doesn't blend in seamlessly to the colour before it, just because it is a little bit darker. So just keep the previous brush and the previous shade, which was SF, and just kind of pat that over the top, just really lightly. And just repeat until you're happy with that blend coming into a much softer look. What I don't want is that colour to sit really harsh and the one before it there'd be a big jump. I like my shadows to be a little bit more seamless, but I also still like to see every colour that I've applied with this kind of colourful look, so you will have a little bit of shade repetition, like I said, just to get a really easy and even blend. But I could literally sit and blend eyeshadow for hours. I find it therapeutic. If you do too, then this looks right up your street. And if you don't, I have plenty of soft glam tutorials on my channel that are much easier, simpler and monochromatic that you can try. Check them out. Okay, so I finished this eye off camera and it was looking beautiful until my eye decided to stream and ruin pretty much everything I just spent like 25 minutes doing. So we'll hope that eye dries, but in the meantime I am going to just go crack on with this one on camera. So let's get down to cutting the crease, because it's time for the Instagram Cut Crease King to make a comeback. So we're going to go in with the Makeup Revolution Cut Crease Canvas in the wide shade Halo. I love using this for bright colourful looks, especially for cutting the crease, but just remember a little goes a long way. So we're just loading up a little small brush with that product, painting it just along my lower lash line at first, roll my eyes a few times so that it does the work for me, see how it gives me the kind of guide of how high to take it, and then just start filling that in. So now that that crease is cut, you'll see that everything looks super sharp and super beat. I just want to make sure that this is done. Now, I've done in this eye like a kind of sunset, like yellow, orange, purple and stuff. I kind of wish I'd done a blue lid, but I know I've done a lot of blue eyeshadow recently, so we'll just stick to that. So I'm going to just take a little tiny detailed shader from Zoeva. I'm going to start off by just loading up the shade Sunlight, the yellow, and just really setting the inner third of the cut crease area. So we're just really taking that yellow shade and just carving out the crease with that. You'll see that I'm really taking this like right up to where that cut crease stops, and almost using that yellow to carve out and set that whole light area just so that we know that the crease is going to stay really nice and really sharp, because we don't want to lose any of that nice blending we've just done, but we also don't want to lose the kind of precision that cut crease has given us, because it's really nice just to sometimes go back to that full beat. I don't do it every day, of course, but for days like today when it's like a pride look, of course I'm going to. And then on that same little brush, I'm taking the kind of peachy orange shade Pride, and we're going to just use that to be our next colour on this little rainbow lid moment. And again, as you get closer to where that cut crease canvas ends, just make sure you really are setting that entire area with the powder, just so that it stays nice and sharp. And then a little bit of that vibrant pink shade, Sexuality, is not really going to show up in the end. This colour will probably get lost in the blend, but it's just nice to have a little touch of that in it, just because it is that really nice kind of sunset eye finish. And then just lastly, some more of that purple shade, just to blend the look to the outer corner. And that is the kind of cut crease of the lid finished. I like to at this point just kind of go back and forward with the colours that I've used, just layering them until I get a really seamless blend. I still want to see the yellow, the orange, the pink, the purple, but I want them to be blended and not really like line, 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 line. So you can go back and forward and spend a little bit of time with that just so you get it how you like it. And at the top is looking like a colourful dream. It's time to move on to the bottom. Normally, you guys know in videos I just skip the lower lash line because I just feel like it's very not attracted to sitting like this the whole time. But in this case, the lower lash line is what makes it super rainbow and pride related, so I want to just go in with that. Let's see if this eye is dry yet. Okay, so we have still had a runny eye that's just kind of ruined the whole look. But it's fine. I think I'll just have to pose from this side the whole time. Right, that eye will not stop running, so my photos are going to be from this side. Maybe I'll pose like this. Maybe I'll pose like this so you can't see it. There is always face tune for photos, so I suppose that's okay, but it has kind of ran a little bit, which is a bit of a pain in the bum, but that's just me. But so the lower lash line is actually really easy to do. So I'm going to just start by taking the colour Rise Up and stamping that in the outer corner. Let's wet a brush for this. I'm actually going to wet my brush for these metallic shadows just because I want them to be really vibrant but also really long lasting. Instantly wish done that on this side, great. And then we're going to do the same with the shade Peace. Wow, that is so much better wet. Why did I not do that in this eye? And then the shade Make Magic. And then the shade Activism. And then lastly, some more of that yellow shade Sunlight. And on top of that, we're going to layer the shade Liberation. Just for a really nice inner eye sparkly highlighter shade. Okay, that side was so much easier. Oh, why did I not do that in this eye? Okay. What I'm going to do is kind of fix this eye and put on some lashes, and I will be right back. And there we have it, that is the finished look. I hope you guys like how this look came together. I really, really liked it. I thought the shadows were really easy to work with. They blended out really nicely. I really liked the formula, but Morphe eyeshadows tend to be good anyway for the most part. The palette overall I really, really liked. What I loved about this palette is that it's a rainbow palette that's a true rainbow palette. So you'll probably know when you buy like bright colourful shadows and palettes, there'll be a couple of shades that will repeat. Like they'll be like, what are these two colours, why are they the same? There's not a lot of that here. There's also no like filler shade, like no random like warm skin tone brown transition shades or those kind of mucky browns that no one ever uses. It's pure colour and I really, really liked that. It's also £20, $20. Like great value for money, and it helps a good cause, so it's alright by me. I really like this look. I really liked playing with colour again. Let me know what you guys think. Do you like colour or do you prefer maybe keep it neutral and natural? Let me know in the comments below what you think, and talk to me about what looks you like to see me do with this palette next. Obviously I won't be doing like a lot of YouTube videos with this palette again, probably, but I have been liking doing little Instagram videos and also just looks for Instagram as well. So if there's any colour combos you like to see, if there's any looks on Instagram that you'd like to see me recreate, just tag me in the comments so that I can see them. And yeah, if you haven't hit subscribe before you go, yeah, we'll do it just now. Yeah, hit subscribe. And make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss any future uploads from me. I have got another couple of videos planned. I've got another couple of really cool ideas, hopefully, and products I want to get my hands on. I keep telling myself I'm not buying any more makeup. I'm going to just do looks. I'm going to just do like tutorials using products I already have, and then things come out and I'm like, okay, I need to buy them. So that's going to happen again. So yeah, hit subscribe, hit the bell so you don't miss any future uploads from me, because we are going to be doing a lot. There's a wasp currently flying around distracting me, which is great. Yeah. If you haven't hit subscribe, please do hit the bell so you don't miss any future uploads from me. Give this video a big thumbs up if you like it. I'd really, really appreciate that. Hit me up on my other social medias. They will not necessarily be here. I'm still playing around with a new layout with my new editing program, so they'll be somewhere in the screen, but just make sure you hit me up and we can chat on Instagram, chat on Twitter, maybe Snapchat, but I don't really use that as much anymore either, but I definitely love the Instagram and the Twitter, so hit me up there. Also, let's chat in the comments to see what you guys want to see me do next, because I'd really like some feedback and inspiration. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. I will see you next time. Peace out. Or bye. See you later.